What's going on? Hello and welcome to another edition of the EPL Fanbase Show, the show that connects the football fans across the globe. We dissect everything happening in the English Premier League, and today I'm joined in the show by football pundits Ron, who believes that London is always blue. We have Gideon, a diehard Gunners fan, ready to party. Gideon, just say hi to the fans.
Hi guys,
And
welcome to the show.
we have SP, also known as Simon Karaoke, an Old Trafford guy. He's already at Old Trafford trying to dissect what had happened, losing to Spurs last fixture. He's joined by his colleague at Old Trafford, Josiah. Josiah, just say hi to the fans.
Hi everyone, and I'm happy to be here.
Thank you very much, Josiah. My name is FM Steve, and today we are going to dissect on the talking point at the moment, the project big picture. Now, the project big picture has been a major recent talking point in football circle, following recent proposal to radically challenge the English game as we know it. The concept pushed by Liverpool, backed by Manchester United, dividing opinions. The proposal include a number of major changes, including reducing the number of teams in the Premier League from 20 to 18, as well as abolishing the League Cup and Community Shield. The reform plan has been backed by the EFL, principally because it is proposed to hand 25% of all revenues from the four divisions combined directly to the Football League, as well as providing a much needed 250 million bailout. While there are benefits to the proposed changes, the proposal will include controversially handing the Premier League biggest sides greater power in influencing major decisions, with plans for the division nine longest serving sides to take on long-term shareholder status. This would include being able to make decisions and changes with the support of somewhat suspiciously six of the nine clubs, with many fearing this is the start of the league's traditional Big Six taking complete control of the division and potentially the first step to the facilitating a European Super League. So, gentlemen, today we want to look at that. We want to see the positive sides of the project, big picture, and the impact it's going to have in the EPL. So I will start with Giddy. Giddy, what do you have? What's your take on this proposed, in short, the PBP? So, what do you have to take of it? Try to look at both the positive and the negative of it. Giddy.
Yeah, Steve, I think for me, what comes out as positives, number one would be to really finance the smaller leagues in terms of the EFL, uh, or rather the championship and the lower leagues, because you will find, like, from how as things are right now, you'll find that there's a parachute kind of finance that goes with the team that is relegated. So that team normally finds they have a lot of resources to be able to, like, come back up again. We saw what was happening with Burnley. We saw Newcastle going down and coming up very quickly. So it creates that imbalance between the teams who are competing. So if you have a proposal that is bringing 250 million, that will be sort of divided in a equitable manner, then it means that you have a competing chance for the teams. So in the COVID times, you think that the teams are going to expect, or not to expect, to need the support, because some of the teams are really going to vanish from the scene if they don't get that support. So for me, that is a positive. But I was also mentioned the negative in terms of competition. You find, like, uh, having, for example, 18 teams rather than the 20 teams, you'll find it's difficult to survive the league for some of the teams, because you see, if you have more fixtures, sometimes you have more margin for error. So you find some teams will find it very difficult to survive in that league because it's just 18. Then the way they are being promoted from two teams, automatic promotion, then the number 16 will now move to compete with the other playoffs in the championship. We have seen in most leagues, like in Germany, where they operate this way, you find that the team that comes from the Premier League definitely has more chances, and we have seen from statistics that it's almost 80% guaranteed to survive. So it's creating a situation whereby, yes, they're supporting these leagues, but on the negative point of view, there are other teams that are really struggling in that. So that's my initial take on this project.
Okay, SP Simon. Now, what do you have to say about it? Because it seems like from the look of things, you try to get support from 4 other clubs, but actually this thing has been initiated by Liverpool and supported by United. So is it that they are uniting in crime, or what's your take on the big project?
Yeah. So I've had an in-depth look at Project Big Picture, and as much as like Gidi is saying, there are a few positives. For me, there are more negatives than positives, and you can see that the big teams, the so-called Big Six, who United, are part of, is really just trying to keep their bread buttered. In this sense that we are putting football, or we are putting Premier League football into the hands of billionaire owners, because all those clubs are owned by rich people. And what they're proposing is that the 6 big clubs will have more or less a veto power to make decisions in the Premier League. So while it is a good, a positive suggestion to push down 25% of all revenues, what stops the Big Six from coming back and saying we're not going to push 25% now, we'll do 15, we'll do 10, or we'll stop altogether? But you have to ask yourself where all this is coming from, and this is coming from a bad culture in the Premier League, where billionaire owners are the ones who control football. I mean, if you look at the Football League, for example, in League 2, they've had to pass rules to put up salary caps for players, because you have a club like Salford, which is owned by our very own class of '92, that has come in. They had 4 promotions in 5 years. They've come up the leagues. Now they're in League 2, and just one step, below the championship. And you can see that the owners are pumping in money. I mean, over the weekend they've actually fired their coach, and now Paul Scholes is caretaker manager. So you can see such clubs will not be able to compete with the smaller ones. So for me, it's a lose-lose, if you ask me. It's a lose-lose, because where we are headed, and I dread this, is where we'll get to a point where the Premier League will be like the National Basketball Association, where it's a franchise kind of business. There is no relegation, no promotion, and that for me will just kill the passion for the game. So I could see where Project Big Picture is coming, but I think in its current form, it doesn't really satisfy the needs of the league. And just for your information, this earlier this week, the supporters groups for the Big Six, United, Chelsea, Tottenham, Liverpool, and Man City, have come together and actually just put it out there that they're not in support of Project Big Picture. So I stand with them. I'm not standing with my club for this time, for obvious reasons. I am not in support of Project Big Picture in its current state.
Ron, what do you have to say about this Project Big Picture?
Yeah, big picture, I have some choice words for it. Absolute rubbish. You cannot come up with such nonsense. I am a Chelsea fan, of course, one of the bigger clubs that would benefit from this self-exaltation, because they are just like, they are self-satisfying themselves. That is what they are doing. I mean, there is no regard for the other clubs. I mean, if we are 20 clubs in the championship, how do you give one club more powers than the other on different decisions? Because look, there are unified decisions, like for example, when we had COVID and we had to use up to 5 substitutes, there are some teams that wanted to maintain that status quo of using 5 subs. But then we, the clubs had to vote. And then as they voted, they kicked it out. Notably, Chelsea, Man City, and I think Liverpool, these clubs were tooting up the 5 substitute thing. They have the players, they have the talent. If you see their benches, they are not as well equipped as, for example, these other lesser clubs. Yeah. So 5 substitutes would be too much. It would give a very big competitive edge to the others. So they run the vote and they vote it out and they do not accept it. This is the spirit of the game. This is what should be kept. When you say these clubs have more power than the others, then it is nonsense. Now, when you go to the other issue, like scrapping the league cup, I don't think it should be scrapped in my opinion. It is a cup that has been helping different clubs develop different talent, and then also we should not forget that it has had some memorable matches. Some people became fans of reading through the League Cup. When they had that seesaw game with Arsenal, I think it was like a basketball game, 5-7, and these
should be
other
Arsenal.
clubs, yeah. So and these other clubs, they use that cup, they use the fringe players to also showcase what they can. If you have a big squad and these other lesser players, use them in the lesser competition. What I would think the changes that they could probably look into the League Cup, they would maybe exempt the clubs that are in Europe. You say let them not be involved in the League Cup. For example, it has become boring also. If you look from 2000, probably 15, 16 to now, Man City has won it four out of, I think, 5 times, something like that. So with such a record, maybe prove it, you could say that those in Europe do not get involved in this cup. Maybe you would have a fairer competition. Then if it is not broken, don't fix it. We have 20 teams in the Premier League. We have a standard promotion and control and relegation thing. Keep it as the way it is. There is no problem with it. I don't see any problem with it. I don't think other clubs see a problem with it. So I would think they maintain the status quo. The only good thing that was in that proposal is helping the lesser clubs, pushing some of the revenue down. This is something that doesn't have to come with this other baggage. So let the Premier League do the good thing, help the lesser clubs, but then maintain things the way they are and get rid of that kind of nonsense.